It's September 8th, 2019. It's been really rainy and stormy here in Seattle this week. Let's start the update over here with the ficus. You can see it's looking good, like last week. The pine tree is looking pretty much the same, and some of the leaves are doing this weird thing. I think it's from some insects. Here we have the elephant fruit bush and the Frizzle Sizzle. You can see a lot of the flowers are opened, like these ones. These are a little smaller. Flowers that are done flowering, you can see, are falling off. Not sure if they're pollinated or not. I need to kind of do some research. And then down here we have the tomato. You can see a lot of ripened fruits ready for harvest. Some of them are overripe, like a few right here. You can see this one over here is opened up. It's overripe, I think. And of course here we have the sweet alyssum. This flower smells really good. And the California poppy is slowly recovering, you can see. Hydrangea, you can see this guy is sending out a lot of new growth after I pruned the plants. Rosemary looks pretty much the same. This one too. Not sure what's going on with this rosemary over here. You can see the tip of the leaves are kind of turning yellowish. Here we have the lavender. You can see most of the flowers are fading away now, and some new flowers are coming up nicely, like over here too. And here's some new growth from the bottom. Peony looks pretty much the same. And here we have the green onion. You can see this guy over here is getting super big. The leaves are thick and long now, you can see. And the base of the plants is turning into like a bulb structure. Kind of looks like an onion. Over here we have the pineapple. You can see it's still sending out lots of new leaves, and the plant is growing rapidly right now. You can see this leaf is getting huge. Succulent pot is looking great. It's very colorful with all the different kinds of succulents. And then down here, let's look at the grape hyacinth. You can see a lot of sprouts. There's a lack of sunlight, so the leaves are kind of long. Here we have the mulberry. Looks pretty much the same. And the dahlia. There's still some flower buds around, like this one over here. Not sure if they're actually gonna mature and become flowers though. But yeah, there's a lot of dahlia plants. It's been getting a lot stronger and stronger every year. Down here we have the lily of the valley. You can see it's slowly dying back now. And let's look at the seeds. This fruit over here, you can see it's turning orange now. And here's a few more that's turning yellow and orangish too. Blueberry looks pretty much the same. Leaves are turning red. And the strawberries, you can see there's a lot of leaves. And if we look closely over here, you can see some fruits forming. This one looks pretty nicely pollinated. Hopefully these ones are too. Here's a small fruit that's not really pollinated completely, and you can see the plant is sending out a lot of runners, like these ones over here. And over here you can actually see some more fruits, like right here. This is a super weird looking long strawberry fruit. We've never seen this before. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you. It's kind of weird. And I decided to cut off all the runners today. And yeah, this is all the runners I cut off. And the calla lily, you can see that little seed is still maturing. And the hydrangea, you can see the flowers are beautiful. It's pink right here. And here's gonna be some new flowers. And this stem over here is getting super tall. Over here we have the plain orchids. You can see the flowers are still around. A lot of them actually. And the asparagus, some part of the plants, you can see it's turning yellow now, so another stem is probably gonna die off pretty soon. And this is that new stem that came out last week. It's getting bigger now. Some catnips over here. You can see some seeds forming on top of the plant. And looks like there's gonna be more new growth down there. And then this hydrangea over here is also sending out a new stem with flowers. Yeah, down here is just those new flowers. As for the raspberries, you can see these ones are harvested already. And further from the tip, you can see some newly matured fruits. These are not as full. I don't think these are pollinated as completely as the ones we harvested a few weeks ago. Let's look at another branch. Over here, you can see at the tip of this branch, there's a lot of nicely pollinated raspberries forming. And farther away, you can see some fruits that aren't as full, and those are probably not pollinated as completely. And it seems like this stem over here is sending out some auxiliary growths, like this one over here. Not sure if these ones are gonna flower. But yeah, let's look at this third branch over here. You can see there's over-ripened fruits. And then if we look down here, some more newly matured fruits. And they look like they're not as full as the ones closer to the tip of the stem, like the other ones. The grape is looking good, just more leaf growth. And the succulents down here is looking great too. Over here we have the rhubarb. You can see a lot of leaves. And the flower is going to seed now. Potato, some new growth over here. And you can see this older leaf over here. And at the bottom, there's the potato poking out, and here I found another purple potato poking out. So yeah, there's two now. And I decided to clean the potato up a little bit, and this is what it looks like after I clean it out. As you can see, I pulled out the dead stems and leaves, so it's a lot cleaner now. And the artichoke, you can see the flower is definitely fading away now. It's probably going to take a while for the seeds to form though. Down here we have the new artichoke plants. Lots of them actually. As for the indoor garden, here we have the snake plants. Let's look at this new growth over here. Getting a lot bigger now. And this one over here. Let's see if we can look at the syrupy stuff. Looks like there's still a little bit, but it's pretty much gone after I washed the leaf. This guy over here is doing well too. At the other window, here's another snake plant. And this succulent over here, you can see this baby plant is still hanging around. I think I'm just going to leave it on there for a while. And at the base of the plants, you can see some baby plants forming too. They're getting bigger slowly. And more baby plants. As for the orchids, here we have the mini snowflake. You can see this new growth, it's getting longer now. And this other new growth is getting longer too. And the other mini snowflake is also sending out a lot of new growths, like these two. And this little guy over here is doing really well too. Over here we have the Venus slipper orchid. Yeah, they're all looking good. You can see over here is the new growth. It's growing slowly, and the flowers are still around actually. Don't see any signs of yellowing. So yeah. Here we have the Phalaenopsis. See the new leaf is getting bigger now. And it's also sending out a lot of new roots, like these ones over here. They're definitely getting longer too. Down here we have the mini Oncidium. This one over here. The flower is still sticking, so yeah. And this weird flower spike thing, still getting longer I think, but I'm not seeing any flower buds though. And this guy over here is doing well. You can see the leaves are still getting bigger and longer. And and another mini oncidium, not doing too much, and another orchid. String of pearls isn't doing too well, I don't think. It's not sending out new growth, and some leaves are dying. And let's look at the staghorn fern. You can see it's sending out a lot of antler fronds, and this antler frond is so big. You can see the structure at the tip of the leaf. This orchid over here doesn't look like it's doing too well, but if you look closely at the base, you can see a tiny new growth. So it's gonna send out another new leaf. Gonna keep it hydrated though. The arrowhead plants, you can see a lot of new growths coming up from the base, and the wandering Jew is not doing as well. Now let's look at the part that we cut from the wandering Jew. You can see lots of root growth all over the water, and the other plants and waters are all doing really well. And the arrowhead plants that I cut off, you can see the leaf is pretty beautiful, very colorful, and you can see lots of roots coming up nicely. And this prayer plants in water, it looks like it's still doing well. Yeah, I'm pretty surprised. And this other prayer plants, you can see some new growth over here. This spider plants, you can see it's actually sending out a flower spike. Yeah, it's really surprising how they do so well in just water. You can see lots of roots. And the Easter cactus, you can see it's still sending out new leaves. And this guy over here is still around, so that's good. And this succulent over here, you can see the distance between each node is getting longer because I moved it to a less sunlit location. Here we have the Hoya plants. You can see the new leaves I showed you last week is getting bigger now. And this new growth, you can see this vine is still getting longer. And down here are just more new leaves, like this one. Spider plants. This flower spike, you can see it's flowering now. Over here we have the pear plants. Let's look at that new growth. You can see this little spike thing, it's getting taller now. And the dendrobium looks pretty much the same, just this beautiful vines with beautiful leaves. Lastly, we have the beautiful staghorn fern. Let's just take a nice close look at the shield frond. You can see it's nicely covering up the moss at the base, and it's still extending outward. On the other side, you can see another shield frond forming. It's getting bigger now, actually. If you look closely, you can kind of see a more brownish center. The shield frond usually turn brown after a while, so I think that's what it's doing now.